All right. Am I live? I hope so because this has been so crazy. It's like 10 after, and I'm so sorry, but for like 15 minutes I've been messing with this thing and it is just not cooperating. So now this says it's an empty post. So let me see. Yay! I think I'm live. All right. If you have been patient enough to wait for me for 10 minutes and you're on here live, say hi in the chat. I'm Cindy Baker. I'm an ADHD coach for high performing professionals, entrepreneurs. Also, just work with professionals that have like a busy brain. Maybe you don't have an ADHD diagnosis, but you resonate with those symptoms. And if that is the case, then uh, this will be good for you because we're going to talk about some things that I think apply to everybody. So let me share my screen and get some slides up here. Now, if you are watching the replay, if you could say hi in the chat as well, that would be awesome. And whatever platform you're watching this on, if it's YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and say hi. Let me know. All right, cool. So what we're talking about is memory. I was just talking about this last night with somebody. I said, I don't know how you why do you think you have to remember everything? Why can't you just write it in your calendar or keep a digital calendar? And they were like, I don't know. But we're going to talk about why relying on a memory alone does not work for ADHD brains. Let me get a drink water. We're going to talk about how external systems instead free up focus, reduce stress, and support follow through. Okay. You guys ready? So if you are with me, please say hi in the chat. Welcome, everybody. I'm Cindy Baker, and I share tips as a speaker on stages and in platforms just like this. Help people get over overwhelm and get control of their time and their energy and their focus so they can prevent burnout. So today we're diving into why relying on memory alone is just a setup for frustration, especially if you have an ADHD brain like me. So we're going to explore what's really going on in the brain, why it's not your fault, and what to do instead. Kind of the neuroscience behind being forgetful, what causes that overwhelm, how external systems support executive function in your brain, and what to do about it. All right, so a lot of times I like to start by busting a common myth. And that is that we should be able to just remember things. That is not true. But here's the truth. Memory isn't designed to be a productivity system. That is a poor productivity system, thinking that you're just going to remember everything. And for ADHD brains, trying to rely on memory is like, it's like trying to carry water in one of those strainers that's got all the holes in it. It's just, it's not going to work. It's not about laziness or lack of effort, because you really you intend to remember things, right? But it's about how your brain is wired. It is not a lack of intelligence. It doesn't mean that you're getting early onset dementia. The truth is that memory is not meant to carry everything. It's not a reliable productivity tool, especially if you have ADHD, because your brain is wired a little bit differently and it does affect our short-term memory. So the ADHD brain struggles in two key areas. Working memory, that's holding information in your mind, just long enough to use it. I'll give you an example. those codes that they send to your phone. I cannot remember those. I'll say it, and then I'll remember the first three numbers, and I got to keep going back and looking at it, you know? And perspective memory. That's remembering to do something at the right time in the future. And you add in distraction, and you're constantly dropping mental balls before you even realize that you're juggling them. So, holding on to information temporarily, that's working memory, and remembering to do things later, that's perspective memory. And then we get distracted before we're supposed to do something, and then we naturally just forget it. So you've probably felt this. You walk into a room and you are like, why did I come in here? And it's not a senior moment or anything like that. It's very, very common. Or you commit to doing something and totally forget until somebody reminds you. And this creates stress, shame, and this broken cycle of self-trust. So you begin to doubt your ability to follow through, and that's exhausting. It leads to frustration because we're forgetting appointments and tasks and what we're doing. Then we feel scattered and overwhelmed and ashamed, and then we don't trust ourselves, and that leads to low self-esteem. So what do we do about that, right? Your brain has superpowers, whether you have ADHD or not. If you have ADHD, then your superpowers are probably things like creativity. You got a lot of ideas, problem solving, thinking big. That's where your mental energy should go because those are your strengths. Um, the goal isn't to fix your memory. That's not the goal. That's not what we're going to talk about today. We're not going to talk about your broken memory and how to fix it. But we are going to talk about how to support it by building a brain-friendly system that lets you shine where it matters most. So do the things you're good at. Your brain is probably good at things like creativity, problem solving, idea generation, hyper-focusing on something you're interested in. So let your brain do that, and then let external systems handle the rest. I've learned a long time ago not to try to rely on my memory for productivity and organization. So what do I mean by external systems? That's anything that's outside of your brain that helps you remember, helps you prioritize, helps you take action. These tools are not crutches. They're like scaffolding. They support your brain so you can stay upright and moving. Okay. Things like visual reminders. If you have ADHD, you're probably very visual. Calendars, sticky notes, reminders that pop up on your computer, digital reminders, alarms, to-do apps, physical tools like whiteboards, planners, checklists, external systems, things outside of your brain that help you remember, prioritize, and take action. And when we get these things out of our head and into a visual or a physical system, then we don't have to hold on to it anymore, and our brain can finally relax. There's clarity. You don't have to keep checking on that mental tab and try to remember. Like when I try to remember those numbers, you could just trust your system to hold it for you. Okay. So when you externalize tasks, it reduces mental clutter and it creates visual accountability and helps you transition from it just being an idea to actually doing something about it. ADHD brains are already overloaded. So good systems reduce the number of decisions that you need to make. And you've heard of decision fatigue. So you want to cut down on decisions. And it reduces the amount of information that you need to hold in your brain. which gives your brain more room for more creativity, right? This frees you up to do the things rather than constantly trying to remember them. You can actually do them. So it reduces cognitive overload, decreases emotional stress, and increases follow through and confidence. It works. Now, in my coaching program, we go through we go in depth into this and what you do and some details. So, not all systems work for ADHD. A lot of them were not meant to work for ADHD, but the ones that do usually have something in common. Usually, they're not always, but usually they're visual, they're simple, and they're cue based. Cue, C-U-E. They work with your brain's need for stimulation and reminders. Your brain needs that little jolt, okay? Um, and this is backed by neuroscience. You don't need more willpower. You just need the right tools. So daily visual planners, habit stacking, and cue-based routines. If you don't know what that is, we cover that in my coaching program. Time blocking, alarms, out of sight equals out of mind tools. Um, do you have piles of stuff everywhere because you're afraid if you put it away, you'll forget about it? There's a solution for that. So ADHD friendly tools. Don't have time in this training to get into all of that, but we do in my coaching program. So this is the message that I want to leave you with. There is nothing wrong with your brain. Okay. Um, I mean, there may be something I don't know about, but if you have ADHD, there's nothing wrong with your brain. You're not broken. You're just using strategies that weren't designed for how you work. That's a big difference, right? And and that's fixable. You just change strategies, right? You're not lazy, you're not irresponsible. You just need support that fits your brain. That's the beautiful thing about my coaching program is that people um, get that support that they need, but they get it in an ADHD friendly way. I have ADHD, so I only share, real world proven strategies, things that have worked for me and worked for my clients, not just some theory that I read in a book or some neurotypical thing some guru said. Okay. Now, so what now, right? I want you to try one of the external systems this week and see if it makes a difference for you. Maybe it's a whiteboard task list, or maybe it's alarms that alert you to transitions, or maybe it's a daily done planner. The key is visibility and consistency. So don't try to overhaul your whole life. Just start supporting your brain. Pick one external system to try this week. In fact, I'm curious if you're watching live or even in the replay, put it in the chat. What are you going to try this week? And give yourself grace because you're going to have to build these habits. You're not going to get it right away. So if you're watching the replay or if you're on here live, I'm looking at my phone to see the comments. Let us know which one you're going to use. Now, if this resonated with you and you want more tailored support, I would love to talk with you. I really enjoy helping people because when they see that there's another way to live, the hope that lights up in their eyes is just fulfilling to me. I mean, you could join my group coaching program, or you could book a free call with me where we'll map out a plan that actually works for your brain. You don't have to figure this out alone. Now, I do have a workshop coming up, depends on when you're watching this, if you're watching the replay. But my next workshop, it's based on what's called the Calm Momentum System. It is going to be Friday, July 11th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central. So email me if you want more information about that. Cindy at cindybakercoaching.com. I left off the .com there on my slide, but it's .com. I also have a free, if you're watching this on Monday, when I'm going live, um, I do have a free, that could be free masterclass on the calm method system. So if you want to check that out first, that is going to be this Wednesday, July 2nd at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. So I'll put the information in the comments, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Hope you have an awesome 4th of July if you live here in the United States. And I hope your dogs are not deathly afraid of firecrackers like mine are. One of them, she goes under the bed. She does not come out till like July 5th. So, anyway, again, sorry about the technical delay. I hope that you still catch this on the replay. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye.